How is the knife, Ivan?
Yeah, all the knives are great. They're really nice. I'm really happy with them. There's a few things that we need to do to them before we start any sharpening. The main thing is getting them straight. This one needs a little bit of straightening just in the middle and near the tip. It's really important to get this all done before you start any rough grinding. If you go into rough grinding without straightening them, you're going to run into a lot of problems during rough grinding and as you progress through your stones. And often, too, the rough grinding, the foundation work that you do with the rough stones, I feel, for myself anyway, it's really. What's the word?
I don't know.
What's the word?
What's the word?
Anyway, so we're just looking at them, checking the straightness, determining what needs to be done to each blade before we start any sharpening. This one has a little bit of bends in the center of the blade and around the tip area. That's got to be taken care of. These three here are actually all fairly good. Just needs some light straightening, and then we can get on to the rough sharpening.
Can you show me the point?
Here. It's hard to tell, but on this side.
Not spine, the blade?
No, it's here, in this area here.
Will it take time to straighten?
Yeah, the straightening definitely can sometimes take a lot of time. Depending on the blades, depending on the steel, you can straighten them out and then you come back to it and they've moved just a little bit. So yeah, you kind of have to approach it in stages. These blades are sanmai, so they're a little bit easier to work with than some honyaki. But every blade's different, every blacksmith's different. So the experience you have sharpening each blade varies a lot, is very different. And that's part of the fun of it too, I think. Today, kind of what we go through is the stones that we're going to choose for the rough sharpening. So we're going to go through a series of NSK stones and then go into a few natural stones for the full sharpening process of these blades. Okay, so the stones that I'm choosing for doing these particular blades is kind of just based on my experience with similar blades of this steel, carbon cladding and blue steel. So I chose for these ones the NSK Oboro knife. For this type of work, which they need quite a bit of shaping, there's a fair amount of shaping that's going to be done on this stone initially, and not a lot of steel will be removed, but it's just a lot of shaping. So I like this stone. I've been using it a lot recently since we made it, gone through the prototypes of it, and I've continued to use it. It's a great stone. Just it's very aggressive. It really holds its shape, surface shape really well. So for this kind of work, it's really perfect. And then the next one is going to be in the same series of the Oboro knife, and it's the 400. It's just very similar. These stones are really nice together. I find it's fast. Going from 200 to 400 is really fast. And it's very similar characteristics. It's aggressive, it cuts well, and also holds its shape well. After that, I I tend to want to start to kind of blending the shape together, getting smooth lines, smooth shapes. So I'll go from the 400 Oboro knife to the Hakuto 800. So that's Hakuto 1 800. It's a little softer, I find, than the Oboro knife. And so what I will do is I'm probably going to test out the Oboro knife 800 on this steel, on these blades first. And I might do the first bit of 800 sharpening on the Oboro knife and then switch to the Hakuto. Just me personally, for my sharpening, that's what I like to do. I like to mix the same grits. I like to do that. It's just the way I've always worked, and just my style. So after that, after the 800 Hakuto 1, then after that I'll go into the 1500 Hakuto 1, which is I use for everything. I just love this stone. The transition that it makes into the higher grit stones, whether it's 2000, 3000, 6000, it's just an incredible stone. It's a little soft, I guess, compared to the Oboro knife series, but that softness has a lot of benefits as well. At this stage, you shouldn't be shaping anymore. And now you're just refining, removing the scratches from the rougher stone, and you're going into the finer grit. So this stage should be fairly consistent and fairly fast. You shouldn't be spending lots of time correcting problems because the shape should be set at around 200 to 400. So after the 1500 Hakuto 1, then I'll go into these softer stones. And for diamond stones, they are quite soft. But it's the Hakuto 2S stones. So there's Hakuto 1 and Hakuto 2. But then within each of these groups, there's also an S, which is soft. Right? So I really, really like using Hakuto 2S 3000 and the Hakuto 2S 6000. For this kind of work, I would say the shape of these blades are flat to a very gradual convex. So these softer stones with clad steel like this, you can really get that shape you want. And right now, all this work that I'm doing now is to set the blade up to go onto the natural stones.